I work for a strange logistics company and I wish I never found out what we were shipping. Part 1. It started with that strange email I received. It was some kind of job listing. It promised a straightforward payday, just logging and moving freight. It sounded good and was something I had experience in, so it seemed like an ideal match for the kind of work I needed. I had been recently laid off from my previous warehouse job, and the hours at the part-time gig I picked up afterward were abysmal. So, when the peculiar offer came from a company called PT Shipping and Logistics, a name I'd never come across before, I didn't hesitate. The opportunity to get back to good-paying work was too appealing to pass up. I applied and I didn't expect much to happen right away. But later that same afternoon, my phone buzzed with a new email notification. The subject line read, PT Warehouse Position, and my heart skipped a beat as I looked. The message was brief yet promising. They wanted to discuss the role further. The salary mentioned nearly made my jaw drop. It was nearly 3 times what I was making at my previous job. It felt almost unreal, but I tempered some of my initial excitement when I considered there must be some catch. Still, I decided to go in for the interview and learn more about the details behind such an enticing offer. The address led me to an industrial park on the edge of town. I pulled up to a nondescript gray building with only a small placard reading, PT, by the entrance. No windows, just concrete walls and a loading dock around the back. The parking lot was nearly empty, just 3 other cars despite it being the middle of a workday. I arrived about 15 minutes early for my interview. As I approached the entrance, an odd feeling of dizziness struck me. Something in the air maybe. I hoped there were no fumes or anything leaking out somewhere. I looked back to the door and it buzzed open before I could even reach for the handle. "You must be the applicant," a voice called from inside. A tall, thin man in a gray jumpsuit stood just beyond the threshold. "Right on time. We appreciate punctuality." I introduced myself properly and extended my hand, but he simply turned and gestured for me to follow. The interior was nothing like I expected. Instead of the bustling warehouse I'd imagined, the space was eerily quiet. A few fluorescent lights flickered overhead, illuminating rows of shipping containers and large wooden crates. No moving forklifts. No workers. Just silence. "Where is everyone?" I asked, my voice echoing slightly. "Shift change," the man replied without turning around. "You'll be working nights. Fewer distractions that way." We reached a small office at the end of a long corridor. Inside sat an older man behind a metal desk, his graying hair cropped short, his posture rigid even while seated. The nameplate on his desk read, "PT Supervisor Matt Branson." "This the new guy?" he asked, not bothering to look up.